What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome into episode number 332 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course, viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It's KB and Deej back at it, fresh off of All-Star break. And we are getting set for the second half of the PLL schedule. We've got a lot to dive into. The Bunk Bed Boys are reunited. It's Throwback Weekend. We've got throwback jerseys to dissect. We'll get into our preview for Fairfield weekend, another neutral site weekend for the PLL. And then, of course, we'll get into our picks of the week later on in the show. But before we get into all of that, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at OTB LaxPod. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, the whole 9 yards. OTB LaxPod across the board. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBICZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. It really does go a long way for helping the show continue to grow, helps us hit new milestones. So keep on subscribing on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. I did see on our back end, for anybody that does use Good Pods, follower of the show on Twitter, they just got integration on the back end that we use for uploading. So we should have our shows fully, completely immersed on Good Pods sooner rather than later as well for anybody that uses that. Very excited about that. They're kind of going to be a big alternative to Google Podcasts no longer existing. So if anybody that used to use Google Pods is looking for another platform, Good Pods is definitely an elite option there. Make sure you guys also subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It is all on our YouTube channel. We are currently at 815 subscribers. Let's get to 900. Let's make that happen. Smash the like button, ring the bell icon, leave a hashtag BunkBedBoys in the YouTube comment section. That way we know you're listening and watching the episode. But be a friend, tell a friend, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and subscribe to the OTB YouTube channel, youtube.com/@OTBLaxPod. Deej and I were conjuring some ideas before we started recording today that may come to fruition, but the only way it's going to happen is if you subscribe. So keep subscribing over on the OTB YouTube as well. And this show is presented by Shootout For Soldiers, who had a spectacular Long Island weekend, raised over $175,000, if I'm not mistaken. Shootout For Soldiers is the proud presenting partner of the Outside the Box podcast. They are a PLL Assists partner as well, and their mission is to use lacrosse as a platform to support American veterans and foster community engagement. With over a decade now, of dedicated collaboration from local communities, lacrosse players, and the U.S. military, Shootout For Soldiers has emerged as a highly regarded industry partner, offering an unmissable and eagerly anticipated event. Established in 2012 as a high school project, this event has experienced remarkable growth in both reach and impact, raising over $5 million to champion veteran service organizations with unwavering dedication to their mission. Along with that $5 million plus raised to date, they've had over 7,500 attendees and over 2,500 players. Their Canandaigua event is next weekend, so about 10 days out, 9 days out, that you won't want to miss. If you are in that area and can register, please do so. They are about halfway to their goal. Go check out how you can support their efforts and how you can support the overall Shootout For Soldiers efforts. Their Long Island weekend each, they raised $175,572 for Shootout for Soldiers and those local organizations that will help with veteran assistance, which is just an incredible number to look at and to see. So congratulations to Shootout for Soldiers Long Island to celebrate their 10th anniversary. And, Canandaigua is always a doozy of a time from what I have been able to see over the years on social media. So if you're in the area, click that link in the description, register for their Canandaigua event, register for Virginia, register for Baltimore in early September, and sign up for a premier event. See how you can get involved, donate, be a volunteer, register a team, bring your youth team to a Shootout for Soldiers event. It is an incredible experience for all ages to attend. So definitely check that out. And, this Shootout for Soldiers has been supporting us from afar, from close up, for years now, and we're very thankful for them. And Deej, it's been a doozy of a week for us, kind of just like in terms of life and like getting things going. And I'm gonna, I am going to formally say on this podcast that we do want to send a sincere apology to Eric and Alexis from Shootout for Soldiers. It has been a hectic, to put it lightly, like month and a half for your boy in terms of just like life stuff. And, we've kind of fallen behind and dropped the ball a little bit on our agreement with our partnership with Shootout. We are getting it back in motion, but I think this week has been one of those eye-opening things for us as people in content, but also operating as a business. And you get bumps in the road, you learn, especially when you don't truly have a business background like most of us do not, and we've kind of been learning business things on the fly as young adults. And it has been one of those eye-opening weeks that you kind of learn a lot from, not only about operating a business, but you learn about yourself a little bit, and you learn that you can lean on people. And it's something that we've all experienced and have to do better at, myself highly. I need to be better at that, but it has been a week. But I think the way that we have all come together here for OTB in particular this week to kind of set a new standard of operation and learn from some mistakes and some bumps in the road have already paid off and made things better. I think we'll continue to go down those avenues to make sure we're putting out the best possible feet forward with stuff like this. And I think we've learned a lot just in terms of like delivering for people and making sure that we do make good on our not only agreements, but like promises and things of that nature. And I think it's going to be a better step forward. So again, formal apology to Eric and Alexis here on the pod. We're keeping it transparent as we always do. Sometimes life happens and shit happens that is way out of your control that derails a lot of things going on. And this week it came to a full head for me. What was it, on Tuesday? And it kind of just like made you sit back and decompress and learn a lot about what's going on and how to approach things better. But shout out to you, shout out to Chase, and also shout out to our boy Diggs for reaching out, and to Hoots as well. He also reached out. It was a doozy of a week for me, but we are going to learn from it, get better from it, and I think we're already on a good foot forward.
I agree. The bigger thing is I also told you this is like I'm going to do a better job of like reaching out and making sure there's not things, if there's things I can take off your plate and being there to help out with that. But like my other pieces, I am also a content person. So like I understand that standpoint too. And I got a million things going on here. I've been coaching. Like finally, this Monday was the first time I could wake up and go to work and know I had nothing to do after work for the last like 9 months. like not legitimately the first time. There's days where
Mhm.
like I've had a day off or whatever, but like this is the first time I can say for an extended amount of time. I have like 6 weeks off where I don't have to do anything when I get off of work, and then it all starts back again. So like I've kind of been in that mode as well, but that doesn't excuse anything, and definitely it's just a matter of putting in a few extra minutes to really say, okay, I can do this or I can do that to fulfill promises.
Yeah, and I think we've just as a company, like, learned on the fly with a lot of things that we do going into this. Like, if you know the story of Underground, you know the story of Underground, and like, people's lives change, people step away from the pod, people change their roles with what they're doing with us, and we've kind of had to just like fluctuate on the fly and learn things. And you know along with that comes the growth that we've had from day one with a lot of our franchises and our podcasts and content along the way, which has led to larger responsibilities that I think, in some aspects we have been ready for, and in other aspects we've been humbled by how we can be unprepared for certain things, and we learn from that unpreparedness. And I think this is one of those teaching moments for us where we're we get stuck in the mud a little bit, and we got to do a little reverse with the mud flaps on the tires and find a different route to make things work. And I think we're on the right path for it. But um a little transparency to kick off this week's episode of the pod. But let's get into it. Deej, All-Star Weekend has happened. It's in the books. And I do have to say, because I think by the time we recorded last week, we had not seen the All-Star jerseys.
We had not.
In my opinion, second best All-Star jerseys we've had in PLL history, just behind the tie-dyes. Because we've obviously agreed year after year that nothing will top the tie-dyes, in our opinion, unless they bring them back.
Not as of right now.
But I was surprised, like pleasantly surprised by how nice and like clean this year's All-Star jerseys looked. They were aesthetically pleasing. They looked good, and they did a good job. I don't know if Better Mortgage, no free ads, if that's their color scheme, but if it is, they did a great job of playing it off to where it didn't feel overly, you know, sponsor driven like we saw the San Jose All-Star game be with those jerseys. I think these were very aesthetically pleasing, and they fit the bill of Louisville as well with the Kentucky Derby theme and everything.
Yeah, I thought they looked great. The material was interesting.
Yeah.
I saw that come up on Twitter quite a bit too, and like I don't mind it, and I would be interested to hear kind of like how players feel about the material and if it like stuck to them, and like was it cooling, like was it too loose, like those kind of things. But I thought the colors looked great. And it was nice to kind of have, I don't know, the blue was a nice spark.
Mhm.
The yellow was good to like symbolize the league, but I'm glad it wasn't black. Like, I think
Mhm.
yellow and black would have been, like, too easy. The yellow and blue, they popped enough, they were good, they were nice offsetting, so you could clearly tell the difference between the 2 teams, and they looked great in the sunlight.
Yeah, I was a big fan. All-Star game was great. Marcus Holman wins the MVP. Alex Ostholman in his helmet for most of the game, which was incredible. Alex Ost has an open invite to come on this podcast whenever she wants. She was an absolute joy to talk to in the press conference. And I think the way that they reorganized the skills competition was very well done. I thought the air gate competition was a great addition to replace the freestyle. I thought the derby was amazing, and we brought this up just in our text chain. The derby is meant to be, it's a speed contest, so it's going to be fast if you're doing it to win, but it was one of those things that like was entertaining to watch. I think moving forward what I would do is I would add 2 additional teams to the derby. It was 2 teams only to make it feel more present and more of an event. I would add 2 additional teams to it.
Mhm.
But I thought the derby like concept as a whole was fantastic and a welcomed addition to the skills competition.
I love the derby idea, and it goes back to like I think that changed maybe how we're going to see skills competitions start to be integrated. You saw kind of the skills competition in the NBA get saved by the same thing. They switched to more of a relay thing with multiple players doing different skills, and that kind of rejuvenated it. Then they kind of changed it again to where it was like different kinds of teams or players from one team against another set of players from another team. And this kind of like starts to move into that realm where it's like, okay, now we're going to have 4 teams do it, and they're all going to, and 2 teams going to go against each other at the same time, going the opposite way or something like that. But it just continues to add excitement to skills. Cause like, I think that the derby and then the air gate, I think those were great changes and additions to All-Star because I felt like people were kind of getting complacent with what we were getting. I think people would love to see like fastest player come back. But like I thought this lineup was pretty solid. And I think you even have time for a 5th game and you just add the fastest player back in and you just the more excitement you can have, the more activities you can have going, I think the better. I think that's just where this starts to lead the league to go.
I think it would be a 6 because they had 5 this year. Because the derby, the air gate, they had the fastest shot, the accuracy, and then the goalie challenge. But
Okay.
I agree with you. I think you have time to fit in a 6th competition. I think I saw this. Neil Barrett on Twitter said this, and I agree with him, honestly. One thing that I think I would change about the accuracy contest, both Charlotte North and Marcus Holman were just pinging that top left corner and going for it. And I would change the concept of it to be, instead of points, well, points matter. I think it should be, if you're going for accuracy, you should also have to be hitting each target that is out there. You shouldn't have to be locked
No,
in on one.
no.
I got bored with it.
That's because you don't appreciate a good shot.
That's completely false.
That's exactly what this sounds like. I could never get bored of watching Marcus Holman smack the same target over and over.
I
Like,
don't know.
I can't even hit that target once. I mean, I probably could, but it would take me a while to see him do it 5 times in a row in a matter of 30 seconds. Fuck. I don't know too many people who could hit that target 5 times in a row in 30 seconds.
But then my thing is, like, if you're going to do it that way, just have that as your solo target.
Why? Maybe he wants to just hit that one 5 times and then try and hit the other corner 5 times. It should be an option.
Yeah, but the options weren't taken at all. They were
That's
just chilling
fine.
there.
They're there. Okay, like
Them
okay.
targets were
Hold on,
like, I
think
get to
about it
live
like
to
this.
see another year.
Hold on. Think about it like this, right? Like colleges. Oh, he shouldn't have had offers from all those other ones because he just chose this one, and that's the one he's been talking to the
No, it's
whole
not the
time.
same thing.
Oh, 4 girls want to go on a date with you, but you only go on a date with one girl for 5 times. Oh, you shouldn't even have the
Well,
attention.
that's a complete myth because I wouldn't have that many options, nor would I have a single
You
date.
see what I'm getting at here? The options are okay to have. It's up to the individual person at hand to decide what they want to do with them. I think it's fine. Maybe somebody just needs to be a better shooter than Marcus Holman, and then this isn't a conversation.
I'm just saying, from the date aspect, I wouldn't have 4 dates lined up, nor would I even have 1 lined up. So that's a completely false narrative.
We're not doing this right now. I'm just throwing out examples.
Stop trying to boost my ego.
Oh, stop, bro. You can cook. You just don't want to. All I'm saying is I'm throwing out examples of why options are okay even if you don't take them all.
I don't know. It was probably my least enjoyable of the 5 skills contests. But that's also a credit to the Derby edition being entertaining. That's a credit to the
I mean,
Airgate switch being
the
entertaining.
accuracy challenge isn't all that exciting.
Yeah.
It's like never really
It
been that
was
exciting. It's just like, whoa, this dude can really shoot.
it was this year in particular the most boring of the 5.
Well, I mean, it went up.
But like I was saying, like, that's a credit to the 2 new additions. That's a credit to, I think, the fastest shot just being a spectacle of an event to begin with. And I personally just enjoy the goalie challenge because it feels like you get personality from all the goalies involved.
Personality, huh?
It's similar to baseball for me, where like with baseball and their All-Star game, I was talking about this when I was on the PHLY Philly show on Wednesday. Go check that out for sure. The MLB All-Star game does a great job of showcasing the personalities of the players that you typically don't get because baseball is such a long season and it's 162 games and day over day they're playing a game, boom boom boom, so you don't really get to like connect with them on a level that you would in other sports. And I think in lacrosse, where they're playing a game once a week in the PLL, and it's another sport where they're under a helmet as well for their game, and you're not seeing faces, you're not getting typically every week you're not getting a goalie mic'd up. It's somebody out in the field that's playing and part of the action every time. I think the goalie challenge does a great job of putting somebody like Blaze on display, somebody like Tim Troutner, somebody like Brett Dobson, like to just kind of get that peek behind the curtain of them that much more.
I want to say that, but like I find that hard to believe because like goalies are arguably the most hyped up position of every team in the PLL. Like the PLL does a great job of highlighting their goalies, and they talk to their goalies a lot. They showcase their goalies a lot. They mic them up in practices and always like get them talking, even if it's just the defensive rotation. Like they do a very good job of like giving respect to the dirty work things. You know, like in baseball, you don't always get real insight at the closing pitcher or the backup shortstop, like that kind of thing. Like it makes sense. Or even like the Pro Bowl is a great example because like a lot of the offensive linemen and stuff really show their personality during the Pro Bowl because like it's about everybody who's there and you see them with their helmet off and like nobody's really doing trenches type work.
And they're
Everybody's
playing flag football now.
yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like it's a skeptical to showcase all those players. Whereas in the PLL, like they do a great job of making sure like almost no one is hidden. Like there isn't really a position that doesn't get the shine they should get. But I feel like goalies are kind of, especially like the ones who are in the tournament this year. Like we've heard so much about Guppy and his return back to stardom.
Did you see the clip of him doing the Ray Lewis entrance?
Yeah,
That was incredible.
right. And like I love Guppy. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm happy to see him back, but like he's gotten plenty of star shine in the first 5 weeks.
You know, he scored that goal for you.
Of course, because I said it wouldn't happen. And then
because that was a trivia or a poll question in the app
question, yeah, and I said no.
On all those, I always say yes because it's like, what's the harm in it?
You get it wrong.
Exactly.
Like you saying no.
Oh, I get it wrong. Like I'd rather like want to root for it to happen than be like, no, don't score.
It depends.
That's how I always approach those.
It wasn't like that. It was just kind of just like like I just don't think it's gonna go in kind of thing.
Oh yeah, but that's how I always like do those questions. I'm like, I'd rather like sit down and want to be like, hell yeah, like let's root for this rather than like, all right, it's not gonna happen. Cool, I got the question right. I root for the chaos.
I kind of just was like, okay, like, is it gonna happen? Yeah, because it's the All-Star game, so like, there's gonna be shots taken by the goalie. But
plus,
like,
Blaze yeeted a ball that I thought had the potential to go in until it took that first bounce. I was like, oh shit, he's gonna try to top Brody Merrill.
Yeah, so that was my thing on that. But yeah, I got lost to where I was before that.
We're talking
the goalie stuff. Yeah, like Blaze is Blaze. He is 1,000% front of cameras lined or chaos cameras all the time. Dylan Ward is Wardo. Like you don't even have to put him out in front. Everybody knows who he is. Who else was in it this year? Kirsty and Dobson. Dobson made a huge he was like big forefront last year, and like him and Sis because they were like, oh, these were the two pieces that they like really needed, and all of a sudden it happened, and now they're good. Like that whole thing, and then I think Curse is probably the only one that you'd get a true like shine at him, and like it's a little bit different for us because we've talked to him like in pressers and stuff, but like he's probably the only one that's been hidden a little bit, and that's probably more so because of the shadow of him being behind his brothers, who are just awesome.
And he's young.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's young, but like his brothers came in and both made huge names for themselves in year one. So like I won't say expected, but it's almost like hard for him to really be a standout guy because they're like, oh, okay, you're a curse. This is the rap sheet on you. We know where we're getting in you because this is what we get in every curse. So he's probably the one guy I say like benefited out of that standpoint, but like I don't know. I feel like the All-Star game is almost where it needs to be. So,
I just like hearing the goalies mic'd up. I like the goalie cam, like the GoPro on their helmets and everything. I love that aspect.
yeah, that should just be in games.
I agree.
Why it shouldn't be.
But yeah, it was a great All-Star game. It was low scoring, which was kind of surprising. Because typically these All-Star games are bonkos high scoring, but it was like an entertaining game too to watch, which was fun. So shout out to the All-Stars. What was your takeaway from Alex Oss being under the helmet though? I thought that was genius. And then they brought her up in the booth, did the same thing. She's so entertaining on a mic. And Marcus definitely upped his game because he knew she was in the helmet. And my thing when I was in the press conference too, that I took away that I was like, oh shit, like they are like the first family of lacrosse. The fact that Marcus's mom and Alex break down Cannon's film every week alongside Marcus and Brian Holman is pure gold. And as soon as I told you that, your reaction was incredible.
Yeah, because like what?
You're like, this is what we aim for.
It is. Like, do you know how cool it would be to come home and be like, oh, hopefully they don't do it as soon as they get home. Because as a high school coach, that would suck. For me to get home from a game and my wife's like, hey, so you guys should have done X, Y, and Z. I'd be like, yo.
You're funny thinking you're going to have that film right away for a high school game.
I mean, it depends. Most of them got Huddle now, so you can get
true.
that film right away.
That's true.
Or they're streaming like on YouTube and stuff. But like the bigger thing is just I'd be angry. I had to put her on a 24-hour rule like I do parents. Hey, don't talk to me about the game for at least 24 hours. Because what's wrong with you, dog? But no, that's huge. Like having 4 sets of eyes. That's 8 total eyes, by the way, people.
Good math.
That know the game that well and are looking at the same information. It's almost impossible to miss something. It's like the finest tooth comb you can find. And so I think that's just remarkable that they're able to use each other that way. Because I'm sure that Marcus and Brian also help Alex with her film and those kind of things. But I think the mic'd up thing was kind of cool. It was different. We're used to kind of just the booth and just to showcase that bond between Alex and Marcus and how the game brings people together, I think is what really that did. I thought it was funny. She chirped him and that kind of made him play a little bit better and like those kind of things.
Whoa, relax.
That's what you expect. Yeah, the homie had a couple assists coming into it. Just 2. But that's more than 0, which means it wasn't his first assist in the All-Star game, but he definitely came in throwing shots right away.
It was so funny. And I also died laughing because she said that, even though Marcus played for so long, like he should never stop playing lacrosse and should play lacrosse until he dies. I was like, that's amazing.
He was already getting at Shelly for not passing him the ball.
Oh, so funny. Last bit here too on the All-Star game because it affects somebody that we care about a lot. Any of you scumbags and dickheads and pieces of shit that are sliding into Jack Rowlett and Jack Rowlett's girlfriend's DMs about the play where he ever so clearly slipped on the field, telling them to unalive themselves, seek help. Like, please seek help. It is nowhere remotely close to that serious, and you all need to reevaluate the way you're approaching your lives. Because when I saw Jack had to put a tweet out about that, that's just beyond insane. It's disgusting behavior. And as somebody like Jack Rowlett, who has supported us for years, to see that, and Jack is somebody that you and I both care about a lot as a friend, as a supporter, as a player, it drove me insane when I saw that tweet.
I want to say I'm surprised, but that's just the sports world now. People are ridiculous. Like latch on to a player and then have to protect them with their lives, which I don't understand. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I am a huge fan of sports, huge fan of players. You could argue me until the literal end of earth about Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Like, we could stand there while the earth is crumbling around us, and I will still be yelling with all passion in my mind about why LeBron is better than Jordan. But I'm not going to go and tell you to do anything. I'm not going to go and make threats to anybody about it. The most I might say is, all right, well, let's check up. And if I beat you using LeBron's moves and you use Jordan's moves, I'm better than you, which means Jordan's better than LeBron. Or I guess LeBron's better than Jordan. Sorry. You get the point I'm making. Friendly competition is as far as this thing's going to go. But then me being a Michigan fan, I still feel bad to this day for the punter in the Michigan State game. I'm sure that kid still gets death threats to this day, which is ridiculous. He lost a football game when betting wasn't even legal, so you shouldn't have been betting on the game anyway. At least in the state of Michigan, it wasn't. So if you lost money on the game, that's your fault for doing something illegal in the first place. Don't blame this kid who did everything that he thought was right in the moment to try and save the game and win it, and it just ended up not working out. Like going that far is just lunacy to me. And I'm
an all-star game, no less.
Yeah, this is an all-star game. Like, I don't know what to say about that.
Like, it really bothered me seeing that. Like, it's deplorable. And if you are one of those people not only sliding in Jack's DMs, because I and as disgusting as it is, I know Jack can hold his own and will put you in your place. To slide into his girlfriend's DMs is a level beyond deplorable. And you really need to reevaluate just your entire approach to life and really like confide in somebody and seek help, because it's disgusting. There's no need for it. And I guarantee 95% of the people doing it are probably age 12 and under, because they're little keyboard warriors and they think it's funny, when in the grand scheme of things, at the end of the day, somebody finds out you're doing that, your life is fucked.
It's a lot bigger deal than people think it is.
Yep.
Not just that. It could be a felony depending on where you are. Like shit like that. It's a lot bigger deal than what it is.
So shout out to Jack and shout out to his lovely girlfriend. They're two incredible people and nowhere close to deserving. Nobody deserves that. No matter who you are, whatever it may be, nobody deserves to have that happen to them. And want to say we appreciate Jack and his girlfriend for their unwavering support of us. They're the best. Fuck those people, genuinely. And if you're a listener to our show, stop listening to our show, because we don't want that around here. Plain and simple.
Or just keep listening and stop being an asshole.
That too. Change your approach. And if you're not going to change your approach, fuck off. And we don't want anything to do with you.
There you go. That sounded just a little bit better.
Let's get into our Fairfield preview. And before we do, I want to talk to you about a couple things, guys. Number one, our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company, the best merch in the game. From shirts and hoodies, you want to stand out in the crowd, PHI Apparel Company is the place to do it. Go to phiapparel.co. It is linked in the description. And when you go to checkout, get 10% off your next merch order with code underground at checkout. easiest, most effective way to support everything we're doing here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. So if you're going to a PLL weekend, want to rep OTB when you're shooting in the backyard, whatever it may be, go to phiapparel.co. Use code underground at checkout for 10% off your next merch order. Tag us when you get your merch. We'll repost it. Easiest and most effective way to support us. phiapparel.co, code underground, 10% off your order. And Deej, before we know it, next week is opening ceremonies for the Olympics, which puts us one step closer to LA 28. But first, we got Paris 2024, and we have our company-wide content project going down, Light the Flame, an Olympics podcast coming to you all Olympic season long. I think next week we will have a preview episode with as many of us as possible to kind of just like get the brain juices flowing and our excitement levels going for the Paris Olympics going down, and talk about some of the events we're excited about, some of the things we're excited for throughout the Olympic Games. And then Friday, July 26th is opening ceremonies, and I did look at the time change. It is 1:30 p.m. to 5:45 p.m. Eastern time. So very like nice pocket of time to be Eastern time friendly for the US. We'll be live throughout opening ceremonies, reacting to everything going on our YouTube channel. It'll also be in podcast form. Light the Flame and Olympics podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. We are now on social media as well. On Twitter, it's at LTF Olympics. And then on Instagram and Threads, it's just at Light the Flame Pod. Go follow us over there. Subscribe to the podcast. DJ and I will be on the show. Stephen McAvoy, Ben Piro from Getting the Hole, Casey and Owen from F1 Underground, Christian from Streamer Season, my co-host on that show, will also be a part of the coverage. And we're working on getting guests. I was talking to Stevie Mac today. Deej, we might have a track and field athlete coming on very soon, which is pretty exciting. Very exciting. Very exciting stuff.
What event?
Let me see if he mentioned what event. She runs the 800 meter.
Nice.
It's very exciting. We're working on that. I'm working on some of my swimming connections to get guests on. It's going to be a fun time. 2 weeks of just like awesome content covering sports that we traditionally don't get to talk about in a normal calendar year. We're very excited for it.
It's the decathlon dude that went to Michigan State. That's from Kalamazoo. I'll see if I know anybody that
sick.
knows him.
Yeah, I'm going to reach out to Rowdy Gaines and see if we can get him on. Does the color commentary for all the swimming stuff. My boy Kyle Sockwell, the president of swimming Twitter. We're going to see if we can get him on. A whole bunch of stuff we're working on, which is going to be super exciting. Indeed, all of our Olympics coverage is brought to you by our new friends over at Shopify. That's right, Shopify, new partner here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. Shopify is the #1 international e-commerce site. And if you're trying to get your business up and going, whether it's in person or online, Shopify is the way to do it. Deej, I think you and I both speak highly of this. You see that green bag logo, it is one of the most recognizable logos in the game.
I love Shopify. It's always giving me there's nice deals on Shopify for one. Keeps me updated on my tracking and packaging, but it's also, like you said, recognizable. Like getting linked up with Shopify, like people trust you and your business and what you have going on. If you happen to send them anything, they know it's coming. Like Shopify is one of those very reliable sources in a world where buying online is the new thing. It drives me insane, but using Shopify really helps. Because like I am not a online shopper really, because if it's not the right size, I have to go through the whole return process and then wait weeks to get it back, and then it still may not be the right size, or I may not even get it back, or it may not show up in the first place. And what about getting my money back? When I go to the store, none of that happens. But hardly do those things happen with Shopify. So
Shopify,
in that green
like,
bag, big check mark.
They're so trustworthy as a brand, and something that I have like recognized in brand recognition for so long. Like, you know, you think of some of these companies, the Golden Arches, the bite out of the apple, whatever it may be, like those are recognizable. That green bag with Shopify is extremely iconic and recognizable, and we are so pumped to be part of Shopify's affiliate program and bringing you all of our Olympics coverage. Click that link in the description and get your business in motion with Shopify. If you're looking to get your business started, whether it's online or in person, Shopify is the way to do it. Click the link in the description, get your storefront started today with Shopify, and help support us. And Shopify is supporting us in a big way. So very excited to be working with Shopify here moving forward. And Deej, it's Fairfield weekend. Throwback weekend. One of the more exciting weekends on the PLL calendar. I know you're bummed that you won't be there in person for it because Fairfield is an electric atmosphere. It was announced today that Dan Orlovsky is going to be in the booth, so you'll get to enjoy Dan Orlovsky at home on Saturday on ABC. I believe that game is between Atlas and Cannons. Yeah, ABC. Dan Orlovsky in the booth. Which, say what you want about Dan Orlovsky with football, I do think he is widely regarded as a very knowledgeable and smart. He's one of the few like very intelligent analysts that are out there. And I think he brings it to another level because of how passionate he is about lacrosse with his kids playing lacrosse and how much he cares about the PLL as well. So very pumped for Dan Orlovsky to be back at Fairfield. But it's Throwback Weekend, and the Throwback unis got unveiled this week, and they are quite divisive online. Deej, your takeaways from the rollout of the Throwback unis and kind of the era that they're playing into with Throwback Weekend.
First off, extremely sorry to all the people that I couldn't be there this weekend. But I'll make sure to get plenty of footage of the Who's Bad, the Michael Jackson experience for you all that's going to be in Paw Paw. Just to let you know exactly what I got going on. Yeah, I was actually really pumped. I love going to Fairfield. It's an awesome experience. And it was going to be great for it to be Throwback Weekend again, which we talked about way before the season came. We were kind of looking at the schedules and how things divvied out, and we were like, this is probably Throwback Weekend. And it worked out that way. So that's going to be it's always fulfilling for us to go to a PLL weekend after we've predicted something, or to be at a PLL weekend and watch something we predicted happen in front of us. It's insanely fun. So the fact that you get that opportunity again is going to be awesome. But the most important part of all of this, let's get into the funness. Absolutely, starting with the logos. They're fire. I love every single one of these logos. Which, I mean, we kind of expected this, right? This is what we get when it comes to the logos. I feel like the logos are the one thing they do absolutely 10 out of 10 perfect every year. There's been some other years where other parts of Throwback Weekend were 10 out of 10, but since they've done Throwback Weekend, the jerseys have been, or the logos have been 10 out of 10 every single year.
And for everybody listening, Deej is referencing the logos that are currently displayed as the profile pictures for the teams and the logos that are appearing on the shorts. Kind of the, I guess the best way to say it is the throwback quote unquote mascots.
Yeah, I guess that is a better way to put it. But yeah, I guess we should roll right into the next part of this, the shorts for these jerseys. The shorts.
I don't think I've ever seen you so passionate about a pair of shorts in my life.
Bro, the only other ones are those ones that we have, those black ones, and also the Vans ones that I have that are very similar to those. These shorts are fire. Everything about them is great. They use like the off color very well so that it accents the jersey in the perfect way, but also it has that logo that's on the shorts, stands out perfectly. I might even cop a pair, even though I know how expensive PLL shorts are.
They aren't that bad. And if you did Helmet Hunt in the PLL app, you did get a discount to use in the store.
Well, I got that, and I got that.
And
that
you get
All-Star discount.
And you get that Cash App card discount too. No free ads, but
right.
you can stack them. It said it when you got the when you get the Helmet Hunt discount, you can stack them, which is nice.
I need to do that when I get online. I don't use it right now online, but I need. Yeah, you on to something there, big guy. But I love the logos, but I'm excited to see what helmets each team wears.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be big as well. I'll tell you right now, Woods are probably rocking the white helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with that. I really hope I think Cannons are wearing a special edition helmet this weekend.
Are they?
I believe so.
I haven't seen any helmets.
Don't quote me on that, but I remember something coming. It might have been for their homecoming, but I saw something on like their Twitter or Instagram about them wearing a different helmet for one of their games, and I couldn't remember if it was one of their homecoming games or if it was the Throwback Weekend. But they might be wearing one. Atlas will probably rock their blue. Archers, what do they have? Orange and blue?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see the orange helmet with those, but I have a hunch they'll wear blue.
I don't think the blue would look bad either with that.
I don't either. Don't get me wrong, but like there's already a lot of blue.
Yeah.
The orange helmet would make the orange that's in the jersey and the shorts pop a little more. We'll see the black helmet for Maryland. We'll see the red helmet. Ooh,
brother. Ooh.
I don't know what we get with Chaos. They're the biggest question mark here for helmet.
I'll tell you how we'll figure it out by who they're playing.
I don't think that won't matter too much. I like
Chaos is probably going to wear their red helmet because they play Maryland. And if Maryland's wearing the black, I don't think they're going to have two teams wearing black helmets.
You can definitely do that. You can definitely do that.
I'm just saying from what we've seen so far.
Helmet does Maryland have though?
White.
White? Hear me out.
They might wear white.
They might wear white. Chaos wears black. Denver's going to wear, what do they have? Gray and
Atlas might be wearing white as well if the Cannons wear blue, because they play each other.
I don't know if Cannons wear blue. I think they're going to wear the gray. Yeah. Gray or what's the? I think they had. I'm almost positive they're wearing a special edition helmet though, and I don't think it's blue.
And then Utah probably is wearing navy because they play the Woods, and if the Woods wear white,
well, they could wear orange, even if the Woods wear white. Denver, I think Philly wears
Philly's wearing purple. I don't know how it's going to look.
I think they're going to wear white.
I would love if they wore the white.
I think they're going to wear the white one. The white would be drippy. The purple would be too much. Like the purple on purple wouldn't be good.
Because it's different purples.
Especially because they're different purples, but the white would be fine.
Yeah.
And then Denver has what? Black and
gray.
They're going to wear black. Yeah, they're probably going to wear black. But yeah, the helmet choices will be interesting to see with these. But then the jerseys themselves.
I will say too, before you get to the jerseys, the hats.
Oh, hats all.
They're clean. They hit. I don't know where I rank them in the pantheon of the 3 throwback weekends we've gotten. I'm obviously wearing last year's edition of the Waterdogs.
I think last year's whole collection
are mint. This year, like, they're different. They're cool. I'm excited to see them in person to kind of like grade out how they'll look. I will say I love the Waterdogs. I love the Redwoods. And I love the 2 like humanized characters for the Archers and the Outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
Those are fantastic. And obviously the Cannons little bomb guy. Give me any piece of merch with that on there.
No, yeah, they need to like turn around and make that just their logo.
That needs to be like their tertiary logo, kind of like the Outlaws have the tertiary logo that they haven't used yet. I need that used. But yeah, let's get to the jerseys. The floor is yours.
Buns. These things are not it, bro. These things are not it, bro. We talked about them a little bit last night while we were just talking like as a pod crew. All right, I'm gonna decipher these. I'm gonna start with the ones I like the least first. Utah, bro.
Yeah.
I've never seen. Is the Mormons in y'all heads? I've never seen a state used so often in branding.
I will say before you continue,
Utah.
I do think, because from what we've seen with the NHL too, obviously with the Coyotes moving to Utah, I do think a big part of that is through the Utah Sports Commission. And they're trying to, from what I've been like reading about with certain stuff, they're trying to make Utah like this destination place, kind of like Nashville is for like the pop culture scene. They're trying to do it with sports. I'm not saying it's the right way to go about it, but I think that is why we're seeing Utah blasted in our face so much from the sports scene there.
So yes, the Mormons are in their head. Got it. Thank you. Because just the way that Utah has to go on everything that the Archers now own is crazy.
Like,
honestly, I was good with the U. Honestly, I think the U could have found something to do with the U, maybe intertwine the little Archer guy in the U or something. That could have been done. Once you threw Utah at the bottom,
you didn't need that in there.
You gotta go, Doc.
Yeah, the Utah in the bottom did not need to be there.
Like that. That's really the only real problem. But that threw it so far, like.
And I don't know. It's one of those things too that like hopefully when I see it in person, I'll get a better look at it. I don't know how I feel about the orange stripes on the sleeves.
I'm cool with the orange stripes. The stripes are fine. That's cool. Like that doesn't throw me. Like you see stripes on sleeves a lot, so that wasn't something that like super threw me. The width of them was a little bit different than what I'm used to, but I was like, that's doable. I can get over that. Who else did I not really like? I understand the state thing. And honestly, I don't dislike them that much, but if they could have done something. I know nobody really got logos on the jersey, but if they could have done something, even if they
anything to make it distinguishable that it is a chaos jersey.
I mean that, or even if they put the Carolina, like the outstretch of North Carolina on there, the outline of North Carolina, like that works too. Like you did that with multiple teams here, so you definitely could have put the state on there. Like that would have been just fine. But other than that, it's pretty okay with me. I just it seems kind of out of place because of the lack of detail on the front. Maryland's just ugly. I don't like nothing about Maryland in the first place. So yeah, I don't. That wasn't going to appeal to me. The like kind of target looking stripes, like bullseye target looking stripes, they're weirdly placed to me. But the shorts are fire. These shorts are fire. I will say that. Wow, who do I got? Denver and Boston are kind of on the same wavelength for me. I don't mind the B, but I feel like there's a little more that could have been done there. But the color scheme's good with me. I think those looked decent. Denver, same thing. I like kind of, still got the barbed look there going. The stripes are fine with this look. Maybe could have added like a cowboy hat or something just to give some kind of vibe. But once again, the shorts are fire, and I can do with this. It isn't terrible. Personally, my top 3, I'll go 3-1. I'll have to say New York is 3 only because the font sizing of New York. If it was a little bit bigger and it, like, truly stretched from shoulder to hip, I probably would have to put these at 2 or 1. Truly. They're good. They have the color scheme to make this look good. It reminds me a lot of Rochester Nighthawks right before I got into NOL. The look is there, but the font's just too small, which throws off the whole jersey. Redwoods come in at 2, like the California, like using the state. The green and the yellow look great together. It'll be good on the offsetting white shorts. I just hope that they don't demolish this by wearing a green helmet. I really hope they wear yellow or white.
And I'm saying from a pop culture standpoint, you pop on an Oakland A's hat with that jersey, you are looking fly as shit.
As long as it's like a yellow one or a white one. Facts.
Or the black one.
Oh yeah, I just don't like the green on green is too much. Like
it's a different green for the A's too.
That too. I'm just not a fan of a hat being the exact same color as your top layer. It's too much clash. So that's why I just hope they don't wear a green helmet. They wear white or yellow. And then number 1 is Philly. I feel like this actually captures the embodiment of the city of Philly. The script, the way the Y drags, and the way that they say everything in the region of Philly. You got the old school Greyhound dog on there. The white shorts are great. The faded white on the purple is there. The shoulder pad is I don't know what those really are there, but it works. It's not, maybe it's kind of like a collar kind of thing.
Weirdly, if they like we both hope if they wear the white helmet, weirdly it'll like play better.
Yeah, it will play better if they wear the white helmet. It might be kind of like a little dog collar thing, or like or it might be kind of like, because like my dog always gets a bandana after she goes to the groomer, so it might be kind of something like that. But yeah, I think Philly's number 1, and honestly, either Utah or Maryland's at 8 for me.
Yeah, we're pretty close to being aligned on how we rank these. I think number 8 for me is Chaos, simply because from the like I get it's your throwback and everything, but like potentially this weekend is the first time somebody's tuning into a PLL game, right? And I said something similar about this with the All-Star game for Major League Baseball too, with them wearing those abominations of jerseys that they wore. But this could be potentially the first time somebody's tuning into a PLL game. They're not going to know who state is. And I think just the lack of distinction to like say like this is the Carolina Chaos is a big like fumble of the bag for me to showcase it.
I did see someone say they're throwing back to a very specific time in lacrosse.
Yeah.
And if you look at a lot of the pictures and everything, they have pictures as well of the specific time period they're speaking to. So it makes sense on why
I get the approach.
Like, looks the way they do. I just think you miss the target audience.
Yes.
In terms of the PLL.
And you miss the potential new audience that you've been trying to gain.
I think it'll all blow over. So I think that this may have even been like just a ploy to get at a certain demographic, because let's be honest here, our demographic and younger, and like really starting with yours and younger, is locked into the PLL.
Mm-hmm.
So and subsequently you get a lot of dads who get locked in because of their kids. But if you're looking for that one, to me seemed to hit at middle age and older men who used to play lacrosse.
And then on the flip side, like I feel like my generation, like that 28 to 34 demo, you either are like me and you're locked into the PLL and have been a fan since day one, or you have that flip side and you're trying to garner them in as well. But yeah, the Chaos one missed the mark for me, especially with just like the trickle down of how far away they've gone from the actual name Chaos in terms of their branding. But That's number 8 for me. A close number 8, maybe 8B, is the Utah Archers. I hate the Utah in the bottom of the U. It's bad. Like, you don't need it. It's an unnecessary piece of this jersey. And like I said, I'll be more intrigued to see how I feel about the stripes, like that style of stripe on the sleeves in person, because it kind of looks like a tin can to me almost, the way that it looks. Next on the list for me is this is the one where we differentiate a little bit. I hate the diagonal wording for New York. The font is way too small for me too. Like, I feel like that messes with it a lot, and I'm just not a fan of that style. That's just my personal preference. Next up for me is Maryland. I do like them playing into the yellow, but I agree with the shoulder stripes and everything kind of looking like half of a Pokeball almost.
The yellow is the best part. No kiss. The yellow goes
Yeah.
hard.
The yellow is
I
awesome.
wish they
It's a cool addition to the Whip Snakes like repertoire.
I wish they used the yellow more often. Not even just them, like the school Maryland. I wish they used the yellow more often as well. The football team does a great job of that. But yeah, that's the only good part about this jersey outside of the shorts.
Yeah. But the shoulder sleeves are weird. Like you said, they look incomplete. Like, it looks like it's missing half of what they were trying to do. Boston's next for me because it is like, I don't think it's bad. Like, Boston is like fine. I just think it's kind of boring, but I do like the red. The like faded red is very nice. I like that. And their sleeve stripes are good. I do like their sleeve stripes a lot. Denver's next. I like the font a lot. I don't know, and again, they're one of those that, like, I'll be more intrigued to see it in person with the sleeve stripes continue. I like the stripes going across the jersey itself, and utilizing that barbed wire font is good. But I do like, I agree with what Hoots has been saying. The lack of orange utilization for the Outlaws is kind of a bummer. Wish we could see more of that used moving forward, but I don't hate Denver's, and I don't hate they're like middle of the pack for me. And then number 2, Redwoods. It's different, it's unique. You never see a team with their state really on the front of a jersey, and I like that about this. Their sleeve stripes are great. The collar is great. Is like, it's just another addition to an already long list of great Redwoods jerseys that we've gotten over the years. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's awesome. The font for the jersey number is clean as well. Big fan of the Redwoods. And then number 1 is the Waterdogs, and that's no bias. I think everyone online has collectively agreed that the Waterdogs have the best throwback uniform this year. I love the font. I love the script. Like you said, it is very Philly. Their sleeve stripes are great. The font overall is great. Huge fan. Like, absolutely love it. But yeah, we're pretty aligned on where we fall with the jerseys. It's also kind of unfortunate that the 4 that you use, just the singular letter, spells out a certain word.
Yeah, I know. I don't think it was on purpose.
No.
At all. But people have been playing off of it, and the memes and stuff, or not the memes, but the jokes and stuff have been hilarious.
Yes. Let us know in the YouTube comment section how you feel about the Throwback Weekend jerseys. Deej, what are your top 3 things you're looking forward to from this weekend of games? The lineup looks like this. We get started on Friday night, 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus. It's Denver Outlaws, Philadelphia Waterdogs, the return of your boy, Mikey Schlosser. Then the nightcap is the Carolina Chaos and the Maryland Whipsnakes at 8:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus. And then on Saturday at 3 p.m., the showcase game, the game of the week, the New York Atlas, the Boston Cannons on ABC at 3 p.m. And then it all wraps up with a Fairfield weekend rematch that we also had last year, the Utah Archers and the California Redwoods, 5:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus. 3 things you're looking forward to in Fairfield.
New York Boston is a rivalry that is always fun to watch, no matter what rendition of it is, what sport, what two teams. They go at it every single time. That's going to be fun. I believe they've already played once this year. So for them to play again is going to be only added theatrics to the first time they played. Really excited to see them go at it again. The possible history, obviously, with Heat about to break the single season record at any day now.
They did play in Albany. New York won 19-12.
That's what I thought. They played week 1. Yeah, so that's definitely going to be an exciting game to see how, the matchup.
And it's going to be pretty even split, I think, fandom-wise, because Connecticut's like that middle part of New York and Boston. So I think, like, fandom-wise in the stands, we're going to get a lot of Atlas fans and a lot of Cannons fans, which will be good for the environment of Saturday afternoon.
Depends, those stands are small. So if any California or Utah fans sneak in, well, I know like Dr. Walters is probably running 2-time. He'll probably
he's the quick changer of the century.
He'll probably be an Atlas fan in the morning, and then
Friday he'll have a Ryland Reese Waterdogs jersey on.
He's pulling a me. He's gonna have one jersey on with another one around his neck.
Literally.
But no, yeah, that game should be exciting for everyone involved. Denver Philly is interesting. One, the matchup in jerseys, but two, a lot of new or old faces kind of coming back for the Waterdogs, and they kind of haven't played a game with the squad they're expecting to have this year at all. Every time someone comes back, someone else gets hurt. So that's a big thing they're kind of working through. And then Denver's obviously just working through the cracks of trying to figure out their offense, assuming Eric Law is going to be punched right back into their lineup. It'll be great to see him back in the Outlaws jersey. And that's kind of the big storyline there is what does that offense do with a veteran like Elaw in the picture, and how do they move things around to best accommodate his skill set along with everybody else who was there. Please leave the water on the field. But other than that, I think that game's going to be a lot of fun. I'm not super hyped on Whip Snakes Chaos. I don't know if it's the way the Whip Snakes have played this year. It's been kind of dull and exhausting. Literally, like it's like boring. It's like a drag to watch because they're not like
outside of TJ Malone.
Yeah, TJ Sparks.
Outside of the young guys, I should say. The last 2 weeks, like the young rookies and the young guys have played extremely well for them.
I mean, Colin Squires still doing his thing a few years into the league, so there's some highlight pieces here and there, but they're kind of just they remind me a lot of the Spurs from the early 2000s / early 2010s, where it's kind of just that very fundamental. We know how to beat you, so we're going to do it that way, even though you know what's coming, you can't stop it. Kind of just lull you out of it, kind of game, which is hard to watch whether you're there or not.
I do have the injury report, by the way.
And yeah, no, I did get a piece of I did get a chance to peek at the injury report. And
Matt Rambo and Jack Rowlett being doubtful for that matchup is a bummer.
Yeah, that's interesting. And Serge being out too. A lot of people were thinking he was going to make a return. So that's another reason why I'm not like super big on this game, is there might be some big names.
Could get Tucker Dordovic back, though.
I say that could make things very interesting with who fills those spots and such like that. So that's one thing to keep an eye on, but I'm not really hell-bent on those matchups. And obviously, I'm hoping that the Woods can make it 2 in a row. And any game that has Connor Fields and Ryder Garnsey in it at the same time is one that can definitely have my undivided attention.
Yeah, and Liam Burns also out for the Waterdogs, but Chris Sabia is back. So it's almost like you win some, you lose some there.
Yep.
But we've said it on this show since his debut. Marcus Hutchins has done a phenomenal job filling in for Chris Sabia, and I don't think much will change with the way he plays. More than likely filling in for Liam Burns now on that defense for the Waterdogs. So we'll see how that all plays out. My big things, I think Outlaws Waterdogs is a huge game for both teams, just in terms of like getting your second half started on the right foot, especially for the Waterdogs being at 1-4. Like, you want to come out of this All-Star break and kind of start feeling good about the way that you're playing as a team, and knowing that you can go out and you can win, you can beat a team that is being viewed as like one of those Riley young upstart teams, and we'll see how that all shakes out. Plus, Connor Kelly, the hometown boy, getting his little homecoming in Fairfield again. He always plays well there, and played extremely well against the team formerly known as Chrome, that is now the Denver Outlaws last year. So that'll be exciting, and hopefully Connor can kind of like get going again to being the Connor Kelly we know he's capable of being. Cannon's Atlas has potential to go down as one of the games of the year with the way those two teams are playing. I think a lot has changed for both of them for the better since week 1, and that's crazy to say about the Atlas since they put up a 19-piece on that Cannons team. But I think the Cannons have learned a lot about themselves since that opening week game, and that game is going to be just all time. I think we're in for a big time game with that one. And then I think for the Archers and the Redwoods, those are two teams kind of similarly to Outlaws Waterdogs, where the Archers have had some bumps in the road. The Redwoods have obviously not gotten off to the start that they've wanted to get off to, and it's one of those things where they both want to start their second half of the season on the right foot and figure some things out about themselves across the board. So that'll be an intriguing matchup for sure as well. And, Fairfield always delivers in terms of crowd hype, crowd excitement. It's going to be awesome for it to be Throwback Weekend this year for the first time. And I'm very excited to see how it all shakes out. Really cool moment that is going to happen this week, too, is, in Minnesota when Kyle Jackson answered my question in the press conference about his wife Dana's grandfather passing away. Our hero of the game this weekend is going to be Dana's grandfather for the Shootout For Soldiers hero of the game, which is going to be super special. Very excited to, have that moment for a family that I care about a lot, has cared about us a lot over the years. And I talked to Dana last night as we record this on Thursday, and she's over the moon, like excited to have that moment. And, part of our partnership with Shootout For Soldiers, we're going to have hero of the game content coming out on social media. We're catching back up after, what we mentioned at the top of the show was just like life happening. But you're going to start seeing a whole bunch of video content coming out across our socials with the hero of the game spotlight. And it's going to be really cool to have Dana and Kyle and their entire family have that moment this weekend. I know Dana's like the point of contact for it, and they have, I think, upwards of 10 people that are going to be in attendance this weekend, being that, they live in Connecticut, and Kyle and Dana both work at Avon Old Farms in Connecticut. So it's going to be an awesome moment during that chaos game, because that's when it's going to happen, is during that game. So very excited for that moment for them and for their family, and to kind of have just like a celebration of his life as well, for somebody that meant so much to both Kyle and Dana and their entire family, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome for us to kind of bring all those worlds together and be able to really give somebody that not only means a lot to us an opportunity to do something, but somebody who means a lot to us gets an opportunity to do something for somebody that means a lot to them. And it really shows honor to them in a way that allows a lot of other people to really see who they are as well. That's the cool thing about Shootout For Soldiers, is the work they do really broadcasts people for who they really are, and shows people that no matter how big or small you think you are as a person, there's always somebody watching that wants to give you your flowers. So it's going to be cool to have Kyle and Dana be a part of, this weekend's hero of the week, with it being so special to them.
Yeah, very excited for it. And I think without any further ado, Deej, before we get to our picks, want to talk to everybody about the PLL app and our app code. The PLL app is a lifesaver for us when it comes to covering the league and the amount of content that is put into the app. I know the Beat Writer newsletter just came out. You can subscribe to that for free in the app and just get all the content from every beat writer. PLL Fantasy is in there. Join our fantasy group. What do you got on deck for fantasy this week, Teach?
I got my boy Rob, Connor Fields, Zach Courier, Tom Schreiber, Ian McKay, Liam Entenman, and TD Erling.
I am rocking. This is the first time I said, I got to do it, and it's probably going to be the jinx of the century, but it's the first time that I have salary cap allotted for Jeff Teat this season. So I'm rocking with.
I thought about it.
I was like, I got to be a part of history. I got Kieran McCardle in my lineup. I've got Jeff Teat in my lineup. This one is like my sneaky value pick of the week.
Hey, how'd you get away with spending 95 on them?
Hear me out. This is my value pick of the week, everybody. For 14 salary cap coins, Miles Jones. It's not bad. Here's the rest of my roster, though.
Oh, no, bro.
Miles Jones at 14. Grant Ament at 36. So I got a big three. I got our guy, Matt Witcher, for 11 coins on defense. I'm rocking with Wardo. And then I took a little hit at the face-off stripe, but I feel like All-Star break could have, helped him get back on. For 10 coins, Mikey Sis.
You went bold going Sis and Wardo. Not even going to cap. That's bold.
But hey, Wardo sees shots, so he makes saves.
Does he?
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah.
Does he?
Pulling up his stats right now. I mean, on the season, Dylan Ward's averaging 28.6 fantasy points per week. That ain't bad.
I don't know how. He be getting beast on from 2.
Week 1 was his worst week against the Archers. He only had 10 points. Then week 3 against the Cannons, he had 29. Week 3 against the Whips, he had 39 points. Against Chaos, week 4, he had 36 points. And then against the Cannons in week 5, he had 29 points.
Hey, it might work out.
So he hasn't been bad because he sees shots, he makes saves. And let me see, do they have his save number? Yeah, so on the season, save-wise, week 1, Dylan Ward had 8 saves. Week 3 against the Cannons, he had 13 saves. He had 17 against the Whips, 12 against Chaos, and then 13 against the Cannons.
I'm not arguing. I just said it was.
I'm just saying for the people out there.
I just said it was a little bold. That's all.
But I do think Miles Jones is a sneaky. He's averaging 16.8 fantasy points per week this year so far.
Hey, we're going to see what works out.
So I'm not saying. I mean, in a game when you're playing against the Cannons, you're going to need somebody like Miles Jones if you're the Atlas to be a part of the scoring.
I don't know. I think a lot of it can come from down low because of the way how discombobulated their defense is. Nonetheless, I'm not saying my fantasy team's going to be any good. I've been butt cheeks in fantasy this year. I just threw out hey, that's my team. You asked what my team was, put it out there for you.
I was close to taking Connor Fields again because I love taking Fieldsy in fantasy. But then I saw how much salary cap I had left, and I was like, oh, I can get Jeff Teat this week. Say less.
Teat is never a bad idea.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to jinx him and be the reason why he didn't score this week.
So join our PLL fantasy group. And right now, still in the lead is Michael Sauer's feet in our OTB fantasy group, followed by friend of the pod, Michael Harrison, the Scorpions Court, then Hoots.
Oh, I'm so far away.
Trick or Teat. That's a great fantasy name. Wyatt, Dogs of the Valley, is 4th. Brian Knows Lax, a.k.a. Pacino Stan 88, is in 5th. Rounding Error, which is Reed Edwards in our group, is 6th. And then your boy is 7th. So join the fantasy group.
I'm at the bottom, man. Just go ahead and say it.
Actually, for the season, you are 14th out of 24.
Yeah, that's terrible. There's no way I should be in the bottom half. But it seemed like whenever I pick somebody, they just decide to have the worst game of the season.
But download the PLL app. Go to pll.app or in the App Store, Google Play Store. And since the app is gamified, you get experience points for doing stuff in the app every single day. And you can get 500 XP in the app when you use code OTBPOD. That's code OTBPOD in the PLL app for 500 XP on your account. Deej, let's head to the pick pond, feed some ducks, and hopefully our second half of the season picks are way better than our first half of the season across the board. Let's feed some ducks and deliver our PLL Fairfield picks of the week, brought to you by Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia and the Outside the Box podcast. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, only 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. You can get it at your local liquor stores in the New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Delaware areas. And you can also go to kenwoodbeer.com and use the Kenny Finder to see who has Kenwood Beer on tap in those markets. Whole bunch of places getting added every single day from our friends at Kenwood Beer. And if you're going to the Mann Center for events this summer, whether it's concerts, live podcast shows, orchestras, they got Tallboy Kenny's all season long at the Mann. So go to kenwoodbeer.com, check out the Kenny storefront, check out the Kenny Finder, get your ice cold Kenny's on deck for another PLL weekend. Must be 21 or older to do so. And of course, please drink responsibly. Deej, we kick things off. The Denver Outlaws, the Philadelphia Waterdogs. How you got it playing out?
This one, I'm going to have to go to the Waterdogs. I think it may be a little closer than people think. Denver has some shooters. And they're getting that new wrinkle with E-Law coming in. If they can get some two bombs going, maybe get the transition going a little bit, there's an opportunity they could pull one off or just keep it tight. But I do think at the end of the day, the duo that is Kieran McCardle and Michael Sowers may be a little too much with them possibly getting help. But the more important part of all of this is we get to see Mikey Slosher play lacrosse.
Revenge game for him.
Is this the game he got hurt in?
No, he's playing against the Denver Outlaws, though. His former team in the MLL.
That's so old now, though. He probably
it is funny how many former Outlaws guys are on the Waterdogs, though.
Yeah, have you talked to Mikey?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I'm not even sure if he remembers what he had for breakfast. I doubt he remembers. No, he definitely remembers playing for the Outlaws, but he doesn't care, you know? So I don't think that's a big point, but I think him playing for the first time in 2 years is going to be huge for him, for the team. So that's the exciting part of this game. Dogs handle business.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think the Dogs get it done. They have more pressure on them to start this second half on a much better foot than they did the first half. And I think they have the more cohesive overall team, and they know what they need to do to get back on track, and they'll figure some things out and start this second half off with a bang. We go to the nightcap, Carolina Chaos, Maryland Whipsnakes. Going to be an interesting game. I think Matt Rambo being doubtful is a bummer for them, just from a physical standpoint of things. And Jack Rowlett being doubtful is a bummer for the Chaos. But I do think on the back end, Carolina has the Dogs defensively to match up well against the Whips. So I'm going to go with the Carolina State Chaos to get the dub this weekend against the Big M Maryland Whipsnakes.
Yeah, I like Chaos here too. Bigger pieces, they have Blaze. The other side does not. And this offense, the Carolina offense has been looking good so far this year. I think even though Rambo hasn't been a huge part of, the offense in terms of like producing a ton, he's been there as far as being, what do you call those things? A decoy, or being a nice facilitator. They're going to miss that a little bit. And yeah, so I got Chaos winning.
Then we move to the game of the week according to the TV schedules. It is the New York Atlas, the Boston Cannons. Deej, how you got this one playing out against two titans of the 2024 PLL season at the top of the Eastern Conference?
Got to go with the team that's giving me the least amount of doubt, least amount of reason to be worried. And they have the best player in the world at the current moment in Jeff Teat, so got to knock the Atlas in to win again. They've only let me down once so far this year, so
yeah, I gotta go with the Atlas to win again. That's a team that hasn't really given us much pause or much to think about in terms of picking them to win games. I mean, we talked about it last week. What a debut for NT in net for them, and if they're going to get that type of production, it's going to be incredible. One thing we didn't talk about with the Cannons too is Will Manny is on the 25-man. We don't know if he's 100% playing yet. We'll touch on that before we wrap up, but the bunk bed boys are back, and it's going to be an electric game no matter what. But I do think defensively, Atlas have shown us what they're capable of and how they can shut people down. And I don't see that stopping anytime soon. So I'm with you. I'm going with the New York Atlas to get another dub. Final game of the weekend is the Utah Archers and the California Redwoods. Two teams looking for a much needed win. One more so than the other, I would say. It's tough. But I do lean Archers in this game. They've proven time and time again that they just know how to shut down some of the offensive weapons for this Redwoods team. And I mean, if Jeff Teat wasn't in the mix, I think we'd be talking about another potential Connor Fields MVP candidacy. The way he's playing this year, he'll be a candidate for sure. I just like the way the Archers offense is clicking right now. And I think coming out of this break, it'll be a good reset for them, and I think the Archers get a win.
I don't know which one of the things I did last week. Well, I guess 2 weeks ago now. Helped the Redwoods figure it out. I don't know if it was me telling them to just run Westberg out of the box every week or every shift and just throw them in the middle, if that helped the offense, or if it was me picking against them for the first time in the year. So the only way to really find that out is to pick against them again. So I'll take the Archers.
There it is. We're starting the first half on all the right feet, a.k.a. we're on the same page for every pick.
Oh, no. You got to remember, we started the season like this, too.
So we've both got the Waterdogs, we both got Chaos, we both have the Atlas, and we both have the Archers.
Do you want to change anything?
Do you want to change anything?
As much as I want to go for the Woods, I can't. I got to test this theory. I have to. If it wasn't for this theory, I 1,000% would just switch up and choose the Woods right now. But I got to test this theory out.
Fuck it, we let it ride. Those are your PLL Fairfield picks of the week. Powered by Kenwood Beer. Waterdogs, Chaos, Atlas, Archers. Let me double check to make sure that's what I have in the app as well.
I was reading directly from my app, so I know for a fact that's what I have.
Where is Pick'em? Here we go. In the app, I have Waterdogs, Chaos, Atlas, Archers. So those are your PLL Fairfield picks of the week, brought to you by Kenwood Beer. Last bit here, like we touched on, Will Manny back with the Cannons in a similar vein of Eric Law going back to the Outlaws. Two guys going back to where things started. Deej, you had a great theory on why Will Manny is going to the Cannons, and I completely agree with you on this. We were talking about it a little bit in our group chat. Let the people know your overall thought on this, because I do feel like if you're Brian Holman, sure, you have a relationship with Will Manny that goes back years and years, but I do think this is a big like Lacrosse type move and a roster construction type move. Your thoughts on the Will Manny signing?
So as much as this hurts my heart to be from the Midwest and to be, everybody close your ears, a partial Notre Dame lacrosse fan.
Ooh.
I do think Pat Cavanaugh's season is over. I think he's going to be going to the IR. It's probably going to be retroactive a week or two at some point. One, to save him from being, worried about getting lost in the free agency shuffle, but more importantly, he actually needs time to rest. He's been dealing with a hampered hamstring for almost 2 years now. Never got full chance to rest it and take care of it the way that it should be so that he can actually play at 100%. And I think them signing Will Manny gives them a chance to look at a guy for a short period of time and see how much he really has left in the tank and be helpful to this offense while giving a young guy that you're going to have for a long time, who you already have future plans for, a chance to rest up, be 100%, and get their mind and body mentally and physically ready for the PLL. It's a great opportunity for everybody involved. As much as Pat loves playing lacrosse, I think he will thoroughly enjoy this break. Not that he won't work hard, but to not have to get out and play lacrosse for the first time in literal years will feel good to some extent. And it's giving Will a chance to show that he's still got it.
Pat Cav is designated on the injury page on the website as being on IR already.
There we go.
Now that's not season-ending IR, but it could ultimately be that. It's not designated that way,
right.
But with Fairfield, San Diego, Baltimore, Denver, Salt Lake, you have 5 weeks left of the regular season. Pat's obviously out this, so 4 technically of the regular season that he could be back for. Maybe we see him in the playoffs, but at that point, you want guys that are kind of going all systems go and have that fluidity to your team so that you can succeed in the playoffs. Who knows if he comes back for it or not? But I do agree that it could be the end of Pat Cav's rookie year, and it'll just give him a chance to rest up and kind of bounce back for a much better sophomore season in a similar vein to Michael Sowers, where Mike got injured his rookie year, was out, and then came back for that one playoff game. But then obviously 2022 was the year of Michael Sowers, and he had a phenomenal sophomore season. So hopefully Pat Cav rests up, gets healthy, and Will Manny is back wearing number 0 like he did back in the day. First offensive player in the PLL to wear number 0.
Yeah. And it looks good on him because, like you said, he wore it back when he was with the Cannons before. I think it will fit him in kind of reaching an Agent 0 kind of period of time for him. I think it's a good move for him too. My personal opinion, you leave your attack line the way it is, and you do with Will Manny what you're doing with Westberg. You run him every time, stick him inside. He doesn't move too often other than his inside movement, looking to get a shot off ball. And every once in a while, you can do some kind of movement to push him out to the outside and get an outside shot going from 2 or something like that with him. There's plenty you can do with him as an off-ball guy where he's not getting drained a ton, and then you're able to have him out there almost like it's almost cheating and having a 4th attackman on the field at all times and still having a guy who can command from X. You have a dodger and a shooter on your wings, and you still have an inside finisher. It's literally almost like cheating the game by being able to do that, and to do it with a guy as good as Will Manny. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him play with Asher Nolting too. That's going to be a fun little dynamic and seeing how those two connect. And obviously the
Like-
bunk bed boys are reunited.
I say, like Marcus said, if you get open, he'll give you the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Asher will give you the ball if you get open. He's a lot like Jeff Teed. If you're open for a split second and he believes he can get the pass there, you better be ready for it because it's coming.
Yeah.
And your only job is to catch and finish or catch and move. So, like, I think both of them will look seriously successful in this offense.
Very fitting that Will Manny and Eric Law make their returns to an OG team for them during Throwback Weekend. So welcome back to the league, Will Manny. That's all we got for you guys on this episode. Make sure you're following us on the socials at OTB LaxPod across the board. Follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_NextGreat. Follow me at KBICCL311. Subscribe to the pod on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star review. Spotify is now allowing comments, so you can also comment on Spotify on the episode if that's where you listen. We will definitely check those out. Only leave good comments, though. We only read the good comments. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Smash that like button. Ring the bell icon. Leave a comment down below your rankings of the throwback jerseys in the YouTube comment section. And subscribe to the OTB YouTube channel, youtube.com/@OTBLaxPod. Get your merch, phiapparel.co. Use code underground for 10% off your order. And Tucker Dordevic, breaking news, is back, according to the PLL Pipeline, our guy Chase. Follow the PLL Pipeline on Twitter and Instagram at the PLL Pipeline. Get your merch, phiapparel.co, code underground, 10% off. And of course, this show is presented by Shootout For Soldiers. Click the link in the description. Register for a premiere event. Canandaigua was about 8 days away, depending on when you're listening to this. And of course, check out how you can get involved as a volunteer, register a team, wall ball for war fighters later on this year, the care package, distribution so that you can bring Shootout For Soldiers to your community if you can't make it to a premiere event. It's all in the description, and keep your eyes peeled for those social content pieces coming from us in the next coming days and weeks across the board. But this has been episode number 332, a throwback edition, which means duck logo this weekend. Box Podcast, the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube Outside the Box Podcast. For Deej, I'm KB. Enjoy Throwback Weekend. We'll catch you guys next week, breaking down everything that goes down and getting geared up for Redwoods homecoming weekend out in California. But until then, we're getting the heck up out of here. We are signing off. Peace.
Hey.